I just wanted to talk about the Trump impeachment, about the quid pro quo, how all the Democrats are talking about that when Obama, during his second term, named 31 campaign supporters of his who raised at the very least $50,000 to fund his presidential campaigns as ambassadors. Talk about quid pro quo. They're accusing Trump of quid pro quo and favor expected in return when I don't know where the Democrats were during all this.
Jack, that was very well said and very well researched. How old are you, Jack?
I'm 14.
You're 14. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to look into the quid pro quo and, of course, the actions of the past executives here in the United States. So, and you bring up some great points. And there's something very simple that I don't even know if you remember Barack Obama because you're so young, but I mean, he did something really simple and also illegal that nobody called him on. He offered people free cell phones if they would vote for him. And there were people that were literally voting for Obama because they thought he was like Cricket Wireless, man. They thought, oh, Obama's like Sprint. If I go sign up for a service, he's going to give me an Obama phone. And that's what they called it. And there were videos of people going, Obama's going to get me a phone. Obama said he'd give me a phone.
Everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone. Keep Obama in president, you know. He gave us a phone.
He gave you a phone.
Do more.
You can't bribe people to vote for you. You can tell them what you're going to do. You can tell them your agenda items. But that right there is a quid pro quo. And then, of course, Jack, the most famous and most obvious one, Joe Biden, who is egomaniacal and not that bright, gets on stage in front of everybody, in front of a camera that's being recorded, and actually discusses really probably the textbook version of what a quid pro quo is.
Like I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
If you want to know what quid pro quo is, it is when you demand a foreign leader or any other person really does something for you, and in turn you will do something for them.
Thank you very much for having me. Anyway, so I just want to talk about how all the Democrats are, pretty much criticizing Trump of his drone strikes and the killing of Soleimani when Obama ordered 542 drone strikes, killing 3,797 people, 324 of those civilians. All of that without congressional approval. And now Democrats are criticizing Trump.
Absolutely correct. In fact, Obama, we had the story earlier this week, Obama loved talking about how he loved killing people with these drones. He loved it.
Yeah.
He personally selected the targets, Jack.
Yeah. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. It's pretty much all partisanship. When a Democrat does it, they don't care. When a Trump does it, it makes
total sense. I don't mean to disagree with you. Yeah. It makes total sense.
Yeah, sure.
The Democrats know that hypocrisy never sticks to them because the media never is going to have it stick to them. The media is going to shield them. So Trump can use a drone strike without talking to Congress and take out Soleimani. And what do the Democrats do? They sound like Soleimani's defense lawyers. They start complaining Trump's irresponsible, can't do that. Obama's wiping out 500 people with these things. Never gets congressional approval for any of it. Brags about how he loves doing it. One of his targets was an American citizen that he took out living in Yemen. Admittedly a terrorist. Democrat. Well, I know the guy wasn't a Republican. Anwar al-Awlaki al-Sahib Skyhook, whatever his name was. Obama bragged about taking the guy out. When Obama did it, it was brave. When Obama did it, it was courageous. When Obama did it, because Obama was enabling him to say, see, Democrats are not afraid of using the military.
Watching Broward and Palm Beach County and Southwest Florida and the Panhandle that gets the extra hour to vote. How are you?
Great, how are you? Anyway, I just first want to say that you're really a true inspiration to young conservatives like me who want to be commentators like yourself.
How old are you?
I'm 14.
14 years old. And you know for sure you want to go into radio and TV?
Yes, I do.
And you want to do what? What kind of show do you want to host?
Like yours, a conservative, talk show.
You want to do a conservative talk show on television and radio or television? Which one?
I mean, I guess I'd prefer, I could start out with radio and then go into television.
So you want to do one at a time. Start with radio. Actually, starting with radio is great preparation for TV. I don't know if you've ever noticed anchors. Occasionally the teleprompter will go down on anchors on TV. It's some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in my life. Now, The hardest job working on my television show, you want to know what it is? Being the guy that scrolls the teleprompter. Because I go off it constantly. And his job is to try to figure out, okay, when does he want to go back to the script or not go back to the script? So I have certain signals that I'm sending the teleprompter operator. You know, I'll look off camera means stop rolling. And then at some point I might move my fingers saying, all right, pick it up from there. I want to get these facts that I wrote down exactly right in. So, but anyway, if that's your dream, here's my advice to you. Just do it. Find a way, local radio station, local TV station, go in there, intern, work, get coffee, clean the floors, do whatever you have to do, and get in the environment, see what's going on, learn the terminology, the lexicon, if you will. And if you really like it, follow your dreams in life. That's my advice. I have no idea why the first time I got behind a radio microphone, all this stuff comes flying out of me. I have no idea where it came from. None. But it just came flying out of me. I have no idea why, my kids would ask, well, Dad, why are you yelling into the radio? I'm like, well, do you want me to do the show? Hi, this is the Sean Hannity Show. 1-800-941-SEAN is our number. And but instinctively, the first time the mic went on, I knew I had to project. I don't know, probably overdid it in the beginning, but, that's how it works. And then I found a love for it. Scared to death my first time, but you'll get over it.
Well, thank you. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk about was basically Obama ordered 542 drone strikes, killing 3,797 people, 324 of those civilians, all that without congressional approval. And Democrats applauded him. They loved him. They loved when he did it. When Trump does it, they criticize him. So it doesn't make sense.
Look, I love the fact that you come informed. That's very important for any talk show. And number two, you have a point of view. That's important for a talk show. And number three, take a bow, young Jack in Florida, because you're dead on accurate. And you're smarter than probably the 99% of Democrats in the swamp in D.C. Good for you. Stay in touch with us as your journey continues, Jack. I've got a lot of years left in me, I think. God willing. We'll hope. 800-941-SEAN, toll-free telephone number.
Friends, and we only have half an hour to go, but it's okay because we have callers on the line. Somebody who's been waiting very, very patiently. Jack in Jacksonville, line 3. Jack, thank you for your patience. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much for having me. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about the impeachment. So basically, they're accusing Trump of quid pro quo, but I don't know where all the Democrats were when Hillary Clinton sold 20% of America's uranium supply in exchange for $145 million from Russia.
Jack, how old are you?
I'm 14.
You're a very smart 14-year-old, Jack. Yes, indeed. And at the same time that she was chairing the but she was chairing the CFIUS board, which is the government organization that has to give a green light to any international deal that affects America's national security. As she was on that board and giving permission for 20% of our uranium to be sold, her husband received $500,000 for one speech in Moscow from the same company that acquired the uranium. Jack, how are you aware of this stuff?
Well, I actually started getting interested in politics a couple years ago when Trump started running for president. In fact, you actually got me interested in a lot of this, too. So.
How did you find us out? Where did you find our material?
Well, so I saw you actually back when all the terrorist attacks were happening back in, 2016, 2017?
Right.
With the Brussels bombing, you contributed to Fox News, and I liked the way, you presented yourself and all that, so I did some research on you, and I'm happy that you started the show a few years ago. So,
well, I appreciate it. It's the second year of the show. So, Jack, tell me your views, your level of knowledge, and how is that reflected amongst the other 14-year-olds you hang around with?
Yeah, so, I mean, I try not to get too political around my friends because, they're only 14. I don't expect them to know all this, but...
Well, you're 14.
Well, yeah, that's true. I actually started my own podcast about a year ago now, where I talk about politics. But around 14-year-olds, I always tell them about it, and I get them interested in it, I guess, and I try to change their mind and get them to learn the right side of history.
How's the podcast going?
It's going pretty well, actually. I was surprised because at first, I was just doing it for fun, but. Actually, a few people are, I don't know how many people, but a lot of my friends are listening. A lot of people my family members are listening, and I think it's grown bigger.
Good. Well, maybe somebody with a funny accent should come on your podcast.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Good. Stay on the line. We'll make it happen, Jack. I want to send you copies of all 3 of my books because that was a very impressive call. Defeating Jihad, Why We Fight, and The War for America's Soul will be winging its way to Jack in Jacksonville, and maybe we can set up that little podcast interview. Wow. Good job, my friend. Good job. Let's go to Sophia.